collections manager for LeMay America's Car Museum. And we are riding today in a 1957 Chevrolet Bel Air Nomad station wagon.
Let's see, how does that Chevy song go again?
See the USA in a Chevrolet, da 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 da.
See the USA in your Chevrolet, da 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 da.
See the USA in your Chevrolet. America's asking you to call. Drive your Chevrolet through the USA. America's the greatest land of all. How's that?
Drive home is over. The three cars are here in Detroit at the North American International Auto Show, where they intended to be all along. But it's quite an adventure. Let's think about that for a second. Very few cars at their age get this kind of ride. I mean, it's an amazing trip when you think about it. You know, it was fun most of the time. It was difficult sometimes too. Like that first night going over the Mount Hood Pass in snow and ice in that '66 Mustang. My drive was with Ashley Bice. We talked about that adventure midway over the pass. Where the heck are we?
We are somewhere in Mount Hood National Forest. Point undetermined at the moment.
I see a lot of snow here.
Quite a bit of snow.
And you've been driving through a lot of snow too, haven't you?
We have, but thanks to Michelin, we have good winter tires and traction has been with us.
I just want to thank you driving those three cars across the country. That you gave us those great tires. Okay? They really worked, especially over Mount Hood. Journalist Bill Hall developed a deep appreciation for our team leader and CEO of the museum in Tacoma, David Madeira.
Our team leader left us one night, David, from the CEO from America's Car Museum. Went out one night. It was left to the crews to get back to the hotel. It was only about 20 minutes away. Well, as soon as we got on the freeway, you could tell there was miscommunication going on. People were splitting off on the first off-ramp, going three different directions. Poor Ashley, she didn't have any change for the toll booth. She had to pitch to the riding journalist to empty his wallet to get us through the toll booth. And then finally we all converged back at the hotel, probably about an hour and a half later. And the person who was last was actually there first. And we said, well, we don't want to go anymore without David. That's we learned that lesson. To wrangle the cats.
Was when we went up Loveland Pass and we kept trying to call David on the radio and we couldn't get him, so he called me on the cell phone and said, Ashley, I can't find the radio anywhere. I was like, okay, well look when we get to the top. So Val and I get out, we go through his car, we're digging through his backpack, we're looking under the seats, we can't find it anywhere. So we get on the other radio and we're like, test, test, you know, we're saying all these silly things. I'm like, can you find the radio? And we keep hearing it, we're looking everywhere, we keep looking, and then finally Val goes, and it was on the visor the whole time, and we had forgotten it was there. So he was like, I could hear you talking, but he couldn't talk back, and we thought he lost the walkie, but he didn't. So it's probably one of my favorite memories, because he could hear us, we couldn't hear him, and then we found it in probably the most obvious place in the car.
You didn't say anything bad or inappropriate at all at that?
No, we did learn that. Even if you don't hear someone talking back, they might still can hear you on the radio. So you want to watch your P's and Q's for sure.
One of my favorite points of laughter was that first morning in Bend, Oregon, when the locks froze on the '57 Chevy Nomad.
this could be a problem. I feel like we don't even have the right key here. Come on, baby. Try the rest.
I understand you know how to get into a Nomad.
I do know how to get in a Nomad. There's several ways. You can use the key and go in the front door, or if the door locks are frozen, you can open the back hatch and slide up through the back all the way to the front. Gracefully, I may add. Make sure this doesn't fall on my head, please.
Oh, there you go.
Woo!
That was very athletic.
30 seconds ago.
Yay! And how about controlling that Chrysler 300G? It had its moments.
It just wallows all over the road. What they've done is intentionally adjusted the steering box so it's a little bit loose to prevent wear on this old steering box. So when you want to turn right or left, you know, turn the steering wheel and wait a little while, and then it comes around, kind of like steering a big boat.
This trip wouldn't have been much unless we had Derek, our photographer, along to document this fabulous, fabulous journey. But Derek got attacked by his own drone.
We had 3 drone crashes and a crushed GoPro. So
I recall you showing us a sleeve of your coat that had some duct tape on it.
it did. It did. Yeah, we had one of our sponsors is Shell, and we had a GoPro go down in a Shell parking lot. And it went upside down, and I went to grab it, and it was in full flight. It thought it was in full flight at the time. Turned out to be a bad GPS update. So I had to grab the drone and hold it while I was operating the app to try to shut off the drone. And so while doing that, you know, instead of letting it go and take out a bunch of patrons at the show, I decided to hold it, and I had just gotten this brand new, really nice down jacket, and yeah, decided to tear into the jacket and shoot feathers across the parking lot. And we were kind of freaking out at that point too, because I'm trying to shut off the drone, and then we see all these feathers flying, and we didn't understand where that was coming from, and it was actually from my jacket. So
I understand you lost a GoPro on the highway too.
yeah, we lost a GoPro on the highway. My philosophy with filmmaking is that, you know, you always try to get the things that other folks aren't willing to get. You know, I mean, sometimes that's the most interesting looking footage, you know, the stuff that you're not used to seeing. And in that case, I was gonna put a GoPro in the highway, and I told Ashley before I put it in there, she was a support vehicle driver. I told her that the GoPro probably wasn't going to make it, so I stripped it down to basically just the GoPro and the SD card. And it did quite well. I mean, all our drivers went over it perfectly. We had 3 semis and a U-Haul truck perfectly go over it. in the very last vehicle that went over it, and I was signaling him this way, but he was white-knuckled on his steering wheel, and he decided to pull it off towards the middle of the highway and took out my GoPro. And we found him at a rest stop a couple miles down the road, and I jokingly took the GoPro to him and told him he owed me $400. He didn't go for it.
So everything was really serious on the trip, right? No fun, nothing.
I think we had a little bit of fun.